we spend a lot of our life through money and mental growth, like trying to physically achieve that and having to like work through that, and it's stressful and it's a tough journey.
Yeah, and the straight culture will look at, say they have a child and the child is born with a club foot or congenital heart defect or whatever, and they will immediately acknowledge that there is some kind of way they can physically correct that, and it's okay. And I'm thinking in my head, when I'm speaking of Christians, they'll look at that child with, you know, missing something or whatever, and acknowledge there's something wrong with the physical design of the structure of the body, and fix it. But for some reason, the Christian culture isn't advancing enough to go, wait a minute, and that would include this as well. Why is it so wrong that something else that they can't see, as long as you are, your soul feels this way, why is it so big a step to say, well, let's fix the rest of it to match?
And the really sad thing is, like, in other countries, if a transgendered person is like, I'm transgendered, I want to transition, they'll do it at a young age. And the younger you are, the more...
Right, the better your results.
The better results, the easier
the easier it is
for the adjustment of where you are.
For instance, if someone starts hormones at the age of puberty, they'll mature as a woman would, and which makes it easier, whereas in this country it's a little bit tougher, and then you end up having to pay for other things to counteract the things that testosterone has done.
And fewer years of torture that you later have to sort out with your therapist.
Yep.
Yeah. But it gets back to, it does get back to where Tambria is it's the basic understanding of what is birth, what is gender, how does it come about. I mean, we all start out with who knows what in the womb, and then you know, where things go and develop. And if there's no understanding of that by the culture, and if it's put forth by those in power and education in the church that says this is wrong and that's wrong, you're in deep trouble. I mean, that's the whole. We do now look at somebody who has a birth defect. Oh wow, it's just a birth defect. Wow, thousands of years ago, a birth defect meant that your grandfather and the sins of the fathers or whatever, and that person was out of the thing. So we have come through and that was another thing, that religion did that type of stuff and laws. Obviously, we're supposed to be more intelligent and have grown to understand that.
It's all about progress.
Yeah, that's hopefully, and you're kind of on the cutting edge of bringing that awareness to, especially here.
And it's tough sometimes to bring that awareness. Very often, when trans people get it right, we disappear.
Yeah,
and we blend in.
And they abandon the community.
And then some people don't have to deal with it.
Well,
total assimilation.
We just talked about that last night, because I have a history. I grew up abused and left home at like 12 and was homeless forever. And I'm part of this ministry, but I'm on the skirts because I don't want to identify myself forever as homeless and with the pain and stuff that I went through. And you know, I just said it again last night. It's like, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. Damn it. You know? And I can understand that someone's going to want to just.
It's like you get tired of being the prisoner, the ex-convict, okay? And I don't go back into prisons because I've been you're prisoner, and now here but this book comes out and everything, and you're back in there, and I don't go back in there, and then I have friends saying, you know, it would be nice if you came back in. So there is those difficulties, you know.
Right. And as certainly as a group, we have sort of chosen to be out there at that, and that's kind of what we're about as a group. To sort of, you know, the dissemination of information to public education, and various other things that we're trying to do. We can I talk about Transition House briefly?
Absolutely.
We've been working on this kind of pet project, which is very exciting, and we're a very new organization. We just started, but this whole thing is taking off and growing very rapidly. And we are hoping to put together a place, basically a thing we're going to call Transition House, which is a communal place for people like us, transsexuals, people that have nowhere else to go and that are unable to transition, and a place for them to, kind of a communal place for them to live, and hopefully a place where we can help them with their transition, and you know, hopefully help them with medical expenses, things like that.
Because there's a lot of them.
And we're hoping to operate this sort of as a business as well. We've been talking about doing a kind of a coffee shop, bakery thing, and trying to make this thing sort of self-supporting, so that we can help some people, and some because otherwise, Elise can attest that it's very easy to wind up on the street as a transsexual. You know, I was much more fortunate than that, but that is a very tough reality.
Well, much like how Lily trying to find a decent paying job where you can support yourself on your own, but also be able to afford transition.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
It's kind of like almost having 2 apartments that you have to pay for. It's like, like
It's very difficult.
facial hair removal alone is like, adds up to be like thousands of dollars in the end. Just for that. And then you add hormones, any kind of, if you opt for any kind of plastic surgery or anything like that, and it's a very, very expensive process.
Yes. And it will continue to be, even when the insurance companies do pay, they're going to pay for the gender reassignment surgery. Everything else, you're going to be on your own. I suspect that it will be a long time before the insurance companies agree to pay for the plastic surgeries, which for many people are essential, because there are a lot of people in this community that can't simply let their hair grow and put on a little makeup and fit in. They don't. And especially if you're transitioning at an older age, once the testosterone tends, for us, for male to female transsexuals, the testosterone has some very pronounced effects, especially on your face, which makes it very hard.
Now, what about hair loss? I would imagine.
Oh, I can talk about that.
I would imagine you wouldn't want to look like father.
I know.
I had some.
I want his hair. He's got gorgeous. He's got gorgeous hair, right? Then I wouldn't have done this, you know. I had hair like that, I think, when I was 16.
It's being on hormones for a long time now. You know, it's one of the benefits. You know, being able to grow your hair out. And,
it's the estrogen does allow you to have nice hair. For people that transition at an older age, some of them have already had hair loss, and the switching from testosterone to estrogen, some of that does come back, but if it's been gone for a very long time, it doesn't, and you can wind up having to have things like hair transplants. Again, very, very expensive. I've had a few. For people that have lost all their hair, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the testosterone is the thing that makes you lose your hair, but you can only go back so much.
I want to just get a minute, get back to the house and community, because what you're talking about is building a loving, open community that accepts people.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, you're with us, and ended up homeless, right? And then maybe you can talk about that a little bit. I mean, how...
being homeless, that was fun.
That'd be scary.
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, being out in the streets of New London, and I mean, especially with the crime rate of New London, that's extremely, scary situation. And even afterwards, staying at a boarding house isn't that much more fun either. Until being able to get out a little bit further and climb up a little further up the social ladder, I was able to kind of like regain my composure to say as to who I was. But being homeless is, it's tough for everyone.
And I just, even in the community that we have, okay, it appears and, you know, we're open and we're very transparent